Hi Flosstube, this is Jordan the Tattoo Stitcher. I'm back for my 2-week cross stitching update. I don't know what video this is. I just realized I probably never say that. I hope everybody's had a good last 2 weeks. Mine have been kind of eventful. I mean, for my life, eventful. I was gathering all my stuff for this video and I was like, what did I even do? Did I do anything? I have a few things, but I feel like it's just like super minimal these last few videos. We are in our official second winter here. So we had, you know, that little glimmer of hope for spring for a few weeks. And then Mother Nature said, nope, psych. And we're in second winter now. So that's been pretty depressing. There is a huge, I'm looking out the bedroom window upstairs and there is a 4-foot berm of snow right down the middle of my street because there was so much snow coming down so fast. The city was like, we don't know what to do with it. And it's still coming. So they just pushed it all to the middles and they're like, we'll deal with this later. And it's been, you know, a few days since all of the snow and it's still there and I can't turn into my driveway. So I have to take like a long roundabout way to get to my driveway on the right side of the road. So I don't have to try to get over this 4-foot ice berm, which I won't be. So that's fun. Every year, every winter, I think, why do we live here? And then the summer comes, then the fall, and I'm like, oh, this is why we live here. And then the winter comes and I just question my sanity all over again. Anyways, let's get into my WIPS. I have 2 new starts and I just realized I didn't take one out of the hoop. I have 2 new starts and I worked on 2 WIPS. Well, I had 3 starts, but 1 I can't show. So let's go to my first new start. Which is, oh, I don't have my iPad. It's okay. It's okay. Use your imaginations. I started, so the spring small from the book, Seasons of the Heart from With Thy Needle and Thread. I think I called it a Blackbird book the last time. It's not. It's a With Thy Needle and Thread. I have stitched autumn and I have stitched winter. And now I started spring. I'm stitching it with all of the called fors. I actually had all of the called fors in stash, was never happens. And I'm stitching this on 40 count old sheep from XJU Designs. I don't have anything to put behind. Is that see-through? So here's my start. I got one side border done and started on the roof. And this one is really, really, really cute. And I love working on these little small ones. They're so satisfying how quick they go. I have had multiple questions about these hoops. These are the 8-inch bamboo hoops from Susan. I can't think. It's on Amazon. It's the same lady that you can buy, the same storefront that you can buy all of the plastic Nerge hoops. I cannot think of the last name, but I know her first name is Susan. Maker, maybe? I'm not sure. But these hoops are like $14 and I wrap the inside ring with cotton twill tape. And it keeps the fabric so tight in here for so long. And I find that I get like no hoop marks, even after leaving something in this for weeks. I get no hoop marks. And the hoop marks that I do get come out on their own or super, super easily with an iron. I'm obsessed with this size too. I think it's super lightweight and it's also like the perfect size for me. Like, especially when I'm stitching on the higher count fabrics. If you're stitching on like a 28 or 32, it might get annoying. I feel like you'd have to move the hoop. I have a hair or a cat fur or something tickling my face. You might have to move the hoop more, but for like the higher count projects, I mean, you can't move very far, very fast anyways. It's smaller. And so I just feel like they're perfect for those higher counts. I love them. I can post the link to them in this video description if because I've already sent it out to a few people. I've had multiple people ask, so I can post the link to it below. Okay, and then the next, I'll show that. Oh, that one's on the bottom of the pile. So this next one I worked on is a whip, and it is My Early Days from Plum Street Sampler. And I'm also stitching this on 40 count XJU'd old sheep. The Season of the Heart is on a remnant that was left from this project. So this is where it is. My goal was to make it all the way across the bottom, and I did. So this is starting to go up so that I could cut the fabric and have the remnant for other projects. So I've made it all the way across the bottom. It took me a really annoying long amount of time to get all the way across, because as I started filling in these little flowers, I realized I'd gotten all the way over here. So I was like, I'm gonna start filling in these little flowers just for I need something else. And I got to this one and I realized I'd miscounted on the vine. So, and you cannot fudge a 1 stitch, count. I think I said this in a video before, but so I had to frog all of it and restitch it, and I made it all the way to the end, and I'm trying to like alternate filling in some of this green. Oh, there's a lot. I finished the sheep. I went further up this border and I started this tree, and I started the first little deer here, and I am not stitching it with the called for. The called for is Weeks Dye Works bark, and the bark that I had was like green, and I'm like, deer aren't green. Not where I live, they're not green. So I changed it to Classic Colorworks hickory sticks. Look how cute this needle minder is. It's like fuzzy. That was a gift from Rocio a long time ago. A lot years ago. But I love it. It's perfect for this project. And I thought it was so funny. I said it to my husband. I was like, look how funny this is. And he was like, okay. But I was stitching a sheep on old sheep with a sheep needle minder. And I was like, ah. And he's like, well, that's not very funny. Okay, fine. Okay, and then yesterday, I was like, I don't know what to stitch on. Nothing sounds good. It was Mira Monday, and I was like, no, don't want to stitch on a Mira. So I ended up pulling out Plum Street Samplers Winter Moon. This is an exclusive kit through someone. Country Stitches, I think. And I am stitching it on their fabric they sent in the kit. I think it's the called for fabric too, yes. Which is 40 count Saltbush by Fox and Rabbit. And I don't have like a, oh my gosh, look how gorgeous this fabric is. Oh, I love it. I didn't do a ton because I didn't get a ton of stitching time yesterday, but so I just did more brick or mortar work here and here. And that's all I did. I might stitch on this again later today. Whichever one I'm feeling, I don't know. And then my last whip, I'm running out of room. My last whip that I worked on, which was actually a new start, and I'm gonna take this out of the hoop because you're gonna die. I was just like, I can't remember what day it was. I think it was Tuesday last week, maybe Wednesday, no, Tuesday the week before, or the Wednesday after I filmed. That's when it was. So 2 weeks ago. I was like, I don't want to stitch on anything. None of my projects. I don't want any of them. And then I was just feeling like annoyed at myself that I've been stitching for, okay, I haven't been stitching that long. I've been stitching since 2019. That's when I started stitching. And I have nothing on my walls. Like, I've been stitching since 2019. I have nothing on my walls. I have one thing on my walls, and it's in the baby rooms. Like, we don't see it all the time. And so I was just like annoyed. Like, I want stuff on the wall. I want to see it. I want to enjoy it. And so I was like, you know what? This project I've been wanting to start since it came out to market years ago, and I'm going to start it. It's been kitted for years. And that is the Blue Flower Huckleberry Farm. I live in Idaho. We have the Rocky Mountains, or the Tetons, right next to me. I'm staring right at them. We've got grizzly bears, black bears. We've got huckleberry season every year. It's like a huge deal here, huckleberry season. So like this is a project I need in my house. It's Idaho. It's me. Anyways, so I picked it up and I started it. And I couldn't stop. And I couldn't stop and I couldn't stop and I couldn't stop. Ooh, got a frame behind me. I couldn't stop. And so I started this 2 weeks ago, but I've stitched on other things since then. This is stitched on 36 count, the called for. 36 count picture this plus shale with all the called for threads. And it's not ironed. But this is how much I've done. It's obscene, I know. It's an obscene amount to have done in like 5 days of stitching. But it's so wonderful. It is like one of the most enjoyable projects I've ever stitched on, ever. I never want it to end and I want to stitch on it forever. Look at the little critters. There's a bee, there's a little chipmunk, there's a hummingbird. Right up here, there'll be a little bird sitting on the leaf. It's just, it's beautiful. It is a truly, truly stunning, stunning design. I am in love with how it's turning out. And these colors are fab. Oh, I have a needle in there. Like the purples. So my favorite color so far in the whole piece is right here in the wording. I don't know if you can see it very well. It's Weeks Dye Works Taffeta. And it's a purpley bluish variegated, like, but really subtle. Some of the berries are taffeta. Oh, it's just beautiful. Every time that color comes out, I'm like, yes, yes. So that is my really exciting new start that I've been working on. Most likely that'll stay out. It'd be really cool if I kept it out until it was finished because I really, really want it on my wall for this summer. I find that's really motivating to keep stitching on it. So that is all my WIPS. Yes. Yes. Not too bad. Oh my, I'm shedding. My hair is a mess today. Okay. So I was supposed to not have the baby quilt with me in this video, but I'll give a story time a little later. I still have it. And so I was like, well, at least I can show it in my video, but it's wrapped really cute and I don't want to like undo it. So I'll just show you how I have it like put together. But this is my new little nephew's baby quilt that I finished. I've got it all wrapped up really cute with this little Disney Mickey cardigan that I found. My brother and sister-in-law are, what do you call people who go to Disney a lot? Disney nerds? I don't know. They don't watch like Disney stuff, but they go to Disney all the time. So I thought it was cute and appropriate. But look how good the quilt turned out. I just did really simple. I didn't do a full double slice. I just did a half double slice. So I had 5-inch charm pack squares and I cut at the 2.5 inch mark or 2-inch mark. I'm not sure. I think it was 2-inch, and then just sewed it. And for a double slice, then you'd go back through and cut them in half. And I didn't do that because charm packs are small and I wanted the fabric to really shine. The older couple that I took the quilt in to have it quilted were so sweet. And the gentleman was the one who does the long arm machine. And he was like, what thread do you want? And I was like, what do you mean? I've never gotten to choose the thread for the quilting. And he was like, well, me personally, I would do this goldish brown to bring out the colors and the fabrics. And I was like, well, sir, you know better than me. Go for it. And it looks fabulous. I love the way it turned out. He just did swirls. And we backed it in this really pretty green minky. And they bound it for me. They just flipped the minky over and they bound it for me. And it's so soft and so cuddly and adorable, and I'm really, really happy with it. And my brother really loved it too. He was really excited about it. So yay, there's my baby quilt. Okay. I don't have a ton of haul. I've been sewing bags for Stitch West, which is coming up very quickly. I have a pile of bags right here, but it's the same pile that's been there. I have a huge pile on the table right here, but they're all, they're like inside out and clipped and stuff, like they're not fully sewn. So I can't even show you them yet. So I'll show you my haul. It's not real crazy. Okay. So my first haul was my Grace Notes Fabric of the Month. And this month's color, so this was February's. So February's color is called Cupid. And it looks like this. I don't know if that's, I hope it's showing up. It's washing out for me, but it's a very pale, purpley pinkish color. Gorgeous. And then, so at Stitch West, I'm planning a few starts with friends. And one of those starts is Consider the Lilies. I'm starting after being 100% enabled by Lauren, New Hampshire Stitcher, and Kate, Cross Stitch Kate. I hope that's right. They were both stitching this. Well, Lauren is finished with hers. And that's when I was like, all right, tapping out, that's mine. But Kate's is still a WIP. And so I had to pick the fabric that I was going to do it on. And you need a fat half because it's a big girl. And I decided that I was going to do it on 40 count. And I ended up getting 40 count from XJU Designs called Baby Sheep. And, oh, look, there's a gift thread in there. I didn't even open it. I didn't even open the fabric. And it looks like this. It's a really beautiful, buttery, pale yellow, like rich yellow. I don't know, but it's literally just butter. It looks like a stick of butter. Really subtle modeling. It is Gorgina. Oh, it's so soft too. I love her linens. It's beautiful. So I'm going to stitch my Consider the Lilies on this, and we're going to start it. Rocio and I are going to start it together at Stitch West. And I believe she got an XJU fabric as well, but she got Old Sheep, which is what my early days sampler's on. So I'm really, really excited to start that project. I just placed my order for the Vicki Clayton silk pack for it, which is really, really exciting. I was doing the math, and the overdyed cottons were still quite expensive. And because it calls for so many and multiple skeins. And so I thought, you know, if I'm going to spend this much, I'd rather spend a handful more and have the silks. So those are coming in the mail. Oh, good. It's starting to snow again. Okay, my last piece of stitchy haul is, oh no, I've got a few other little things, but this is like the last, whatever. Rocio sent me a picture of a kit that she had bought from Hobby House Needleworks. I don't know if Hobby House is like, okay, I don't know. Okay, sorry, ignore me, I'm ignorant. Okay, it was an exclusive Hands Across the Sea kit for Hobby House Needleworks. I'm not sure what year this was the exclusive, because I'd never seen this sampler before, and I'm not super familiar with Hands Across the Sea samplers. I know that there are quite a few I wouldn't stitch, but there are a couple that I'm like, and this was one. When she sent me the picture, I was like, hold the phone, pause my life for a second. I immediately ordered it. I didn't order the full kit. So the kit options were, NPI, right? No, maybe, maybe one of the options were NPIs, and one of the options was Soie d'Alger, and another option was DMC. But even the DMC option was quite expensive, and I have tons of fabric, Like, I didn't necessarily need the called for fabric, even though it is stunning. It is stunning. And I was like, I've got a crap load of DMC. I don't need more DMC. So I just bought the pattern, and it is called Martha. So all these are like named after people that I'm assuming stitched these because their names are on them. Again, I'm ignorant with hats. Samplers. Martha Walmsley, 1847. And I got it for that big ass bird in the middle. Look at that pink tail. I can't even with that bird. And that border, she thick border. I don't know if I'll do the border. It might look just fine without it, but we'll see. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I've already got another Hands Across the Sea sampler on its way to me for the next video. Okay, and then now this is kind of tying into life. So that's really the end of the stitching stuff. I don't know. Well, maybe I'll show potential new start. So I placed literally, I placed my market order, and then I kept seeing new ones. Why do they release them so staggered? Like, I kept seeing one like released for market after I'd already placed my order. So I have like four pending market orders with Abby at Top Knot Stitcher. But she's so great, and she combines everybody's outstanding market orders and sends them all at once, and the refunds of shipping. So I was like, I need spring. I need something spring. It was before I had started the Seasons of the Heart spring. I was looking at starting this other one, and I still might start it pretty soon. So this was a pattern that I bought in October at Stitch West. It is From the Heart Needle Art by Wendy Petros. And this one is called Susan's Little Sampler. And it is so delicate and muted, and I just loved it. It's so pretty, and it's really not that much stitching. It's 105 by 111. So I might still start this depending on when I get my market stuff, because there are things in my market stuff that I really want to start too. But I don't need 58 new spring starts, okay? I don't. But the fabric I pulled for this one as a potential start is 36 count Mystery Linen by Grace Notes. It's just like a really subtle touch. In some lights it has a touch of pink, and in some lights it doesn't. But I thought that would look really nice with it. And the called for threads are NPIs, but she has a DMC conversion here too, which is what I would do. So that is a potential new start in the next couple of weeks. Okay, now stitching stuff is done. Now we'll go to life. So, not this past Saturday, so today's Tuesday, so not this past Saturday, but the Saturday before, I ended up going down to, like the city nearest me. It's like 20 minutes away, to meet my friend Amy. Her Flosstube Instagram and Flosstube is X Stitching and Adventures. So I met Amy down in town to go thrifting for frames for stitching stuff, because we like to frame stuff ourselves because it's cheaper. So I ended up finding a bunch of really good, great frames I'm excited to show. Okay, so I've already pulled them apart and taken the weird things that were inside them out. I should have saved one of them. It was good. So this one is a custom frame, so it's heavy duty, and this is one of the first ones I found. It's like a blackish brownish with this little beading detail. It is gorgeous, but it's strange size because it's a custom. I was like, what am I going to put in here? And I have been wanting to try stitching a pattern on 46 count. I've never stitched on 46 count. And so I do have a couple small pieces of 46 count on their way to me from XJU. And I was like, what would I put in here? Because it's not super like the vibe of my house, but I loved the frame. And I decided that, and I don't have my iPad, but Bernadette, when she was in Japan, she got me the Cosmo Floss for Kathy Barrick's Gerald. And I've been wanting to start it. And on 46 count, Gerald fits in this frame like he was born to be here. Like with the most perfect margin. Like this is his frame. And I think the colors of him are so rich, they'll really, really go well with the color of this frame. So this one has a dedicated piece for it. When I will finish that piece, who knows? Still haven't even started it. But anyways, there's one frame. And another frame I found, some of these have glass in them. This is a hand-carved frame. There's no like label on it, but it is a hand-carved frame that I found. And I just thought it was so interesting and beautiful. And this is a pretty, like not a weird size. I think it's 8 by 10, maybe a little bigger. Oh, but it's so pretty. Look, you can see outside the berm, the 4-foot berm. So anyways, there's a frame that has no plans for it yet. I just wanted it. And then another frame I found, I was hoping this frame would work for the Plum Street My Early Days because I think the color would look really well with it, but it doesn't fit. So, but I'm sure I won't have a hard time finding something for it. And it's just this, I'm pretty sure it's from Hobby Lobby. It is. But I found it for $4. All of these frames ranged from $3. No, I think I got one for $2. From $2 to $11. So this one was $2, but it's really, really, really pretty. Oops. And then this one has no glass and I took the thing out, but it's just like it's kind of a strange size, but it's like a white gold detail. I thought it was really pretty. And then the last frame I got, which is really exciting, is humongous. It's right here. And obviously, I haven't even started Consider the Lilies, but I was already thinking about what the heck am I going to do for framing because it's huge. And I happened to find this frame. It is solid wood custom frame. It's a little beat up. I need to get like one of those wax wood crayons to kind of touch up the beat up spots. But it's huge. And I measured it for Consider the Lilies on 40 count. And it will fit perfect with an inch margin around the whole thing. It'll fit. It's born to be there. So that was really, really exciting because this frame was $11. And I know getting a custom frame for that size would probably be $500. So I'm really, really excited about that. So we had a great time thrifting and we went ate Indian food for lunch and it was just a great afternoon. I had a great time. So yeah, so then let's see. I'm finally not sick. And then one of my children got sick. Pray for me, people. Pray for me that I don't get sick again. Ugh. So, for now, I'm keeping her away from me for the most part. It's just a cold that she has, but a cold for her will be the flu for me. My immune system must be non-existent. Okay, so little story time of what happened to me this past weekend and why I still have the baby quilt that I wasn't supposed to have for this video. So this past Saturday, my mom and my sister and I were supposed to head down to Utah for my brother and sister-in-law's baby shower. It's their first baby. And we were going to stay the night and go shopping because, you know, Utah, there's a lot more shopping than where we live. And we were just so excited. It was going to be so much fun. And a couple days before, the weather was like, yo, we're going to have a big storm. And we were like, okay, well, we'll just watch it, you know. We live in Idaho. We're used to driving in the snow. And then Friday before we left, it was snowing. And I had so much anxiety about what the roads were going to be like. I am a nervous driver as it is. Like, I'm a good driver, but I'm a nervous driver. So I was like, it's looking a little sketchy. And I didn't sleep the whole night before. I think I slept 2 hours the night before we were supposed to leave at 7 in the morning the next morning in order to get there in time for the shower. And so we got up, I got ready, I came downstairs, and I looked outside, and it was a blizzard of epic proportions. Like, whiteout, you can't see, it was nuts. But I kept checking the Idaho cameras, the interstate cameras, and the roads were clear past Pocatello. So from my town to Pocatello, which is like the area where the interstate will go this way for Utah and this way for Boise. So past Pocatello is the mountain pass we have to get through, the Malad Mountain Pass you have to get through to get to Utah. And when it's not snowing, it's a little scary. Like, you're driving through a mountain, it's a little scary. So with snow, terrifying, utterly terrifying. And so I was like, I kept checking those cameras and I was like, it is clear. Like, there's no snow, the roads are dry. Like, if we can get past Pocatello, we'll be okay. And so my mom and sister showed up. My husband was out at 7 a.m. shoveling the 1.5 feet of snow we had gotten overnight out of our driveway so they could pull into the driveway to get me. And so I get in the car and we're like, luckily we were in an all-wheel drive vehicle, but so we get on the highway and it is like we have to take the highway to get to the interstate. And the highway obviously hadn't been plowed yet, and it was chaos. 3 slide-offs between the first and second exit, like 3. Ambulances, like the whole thing. It was sketchy. So we were like, seriously, we're going 20 miles an hour on the highway. Like, we were terrified, and we just was like, we pulled off at the exit past my house. We pulled off and we came back to my house because we're like, we can't drive 30 miles an hour all the way to Utah. We won't get there till tonight. So we came back to my house. We were all angry and upset. And I kept checking the cameras. I'm like, you guys, they're clear past Pocatello. Like, we could get in front of the storm. We were trying to be positive. And we were like, okay, we'll try. So it was like an hour later, we get back on the road to try. Because here it was like sunny. The sun had come out. The snow stopped. Obviously, it's just snow on the road, but it was sunny. It wasn't snowing. So we start on the road and we get to Idaho Falls, which is like 20 minutes past my house. And the snow starts. And we get on the interstate and it is a whiteout. It is blizzard. It is scary, scary, scary driving. But like, my mom was like, I feel good on the road. Like, we're solid. We're going 45, you know, like we're solid on the road in this car. So we kept going. And it kept getting worse and worse and worse. And we're like, you know what? We'll get to Pocatello and keep checking the cameras along the way. So we finally get to Pocatello. And mind you, it takes about 45 minutes to an hour from my house to get to Pocatello. And it took us over an hour and a half to get to Pocatello because of the snow. And it was coming down so hard and so thick. Like, you stood outside for 1 second and your car was coated. You were coated. Like, I have never seen snow like that. And I was checking the cameras and I was like, they still look clear. So we went to this coffee shop. We hadn't eaten anything. We get breakfast and we're getting back on the road. And we're coming up to, like, we get back on the interstate and we're like, we got to get past Pocatello. We get up, you know, you're going up a hill in Pocatello and then you come back down the other side of the hill and it's the last Pocatello exit. It's the last exit for a little bit. So we're coming up to the last exit and we're coming down the hill. And on the other side of the interstate, there were 6 semis collided. Across the highway sideways, traffic completely stopped. And police were just getting there. So like, this was the beginning of an hours long traffic is stuck because of all these semi trucks off the road, across the road issues. And that freaked us out. We're like, oh my gosh, should we call it? Should we call it? Should we call this? And I looked in the cameras. I was like, let me check really quick before you get to this exit. And where there was no snow 10 minutes before, the mountain pass was obliterated with snow. And that was when we were like, nope, nope. We're not driving through the mountain in this. Instead of getting in front of the storm, we were just staying with the storm, going all the way through the mountains. And so super disappointing, super upsetting, but we took the last exit and we turned around and it took us another hour and a half to get back home. And in the end, I'm glad that we didn't like try to push through, because while we could have maybe made it there late, the next day, the weather report for Salt Lake was snow and they had crazy wind. And it was going straight up back through the mountain pass. The storm was moving straight back up through the mountain pass at the same time we'd be trying to drive home. So it's good that we didn't go. Super disappointing not to be there, but we're alive. That is my tale of woe regarding this horrible weather. So yeah, that's about the most excitement we've had other than our normal things. Shows I've watched, let's see. We are caught up on Love is Blind. New episodes are coming out tomorrow. The last episodes to the weddings, which are, well, I can't remember if they released the weddings and then the after show, probably. So we're all caught up on that. I finished all of the seasons of The Housewives of Salt Lake City. I got 100% sucked into that drama and craziness, and the ending of season 4, absolutely nuts, insane. I could not believe it. So that was fun to watch all of it. It's just watching people that live so different than you is crazy. And then I was like, where do I go from here? There's so many cities that they do this show in. And then I was told that the next show that has a new season coming is supposed to be New Jersey. And I remember watching New Jersey when I was in high school, so I was familiar with the people. So I just picked up kind of where I left off when I was watching it. Like, it's cool. So quite a few seasons back. And it's weird. It's bringing back that time of my life, which is funny. So I started watching that, but it's not as interesting as Salt Lake. Salt Lake is the best one so far for me. And then we watched Game of Thrones. We finished Game of Thrones again for the 100th time. I watched a documentary. Oh, I watched that docuseries Beckham, about David Beckham. It was really interesting, actually. A lot of stuff I didn't know. We watched something else too. We started watching that one American something about the octopus, the not an actual octopus, like the documents and the project that this journalist was working on. He called it the octopus, and he was murdered at his hotel while he was working on this project. We haven't finished it though. Oh, I also watched this week the 4th season of the PBS show Miss Scarlet and the Duke. It was great. I love that show. Highly recommend if you like Sherlock Holmes type shows. It was really good. I really, really liked it. And now I have to wait forever for another new season, and so that's annoying. A new season of Somebody Feed Phil just came out on Netflix yesterday or Sunday. So we're going to start that now that Game of Thrones is done. We're really excited. We love that show. If you've never seen it, it's Somebody Feed Phil on Netflix. Phil Rosenthal, who is the creator and director for like shows like Everybody Loves Raymond, is probably his most famous one. He just goes around other countries and eats. And he's really funny and we love it. We haven't watched any movies. I think that's it. I can't think of any new shows. I need a show. People, I need a show. Give me a show. Suggest a show to me. I don't know what I want. I tried watching the first episode of Mayor of Easttown on HBO, but I couldn't. I was struggling to get into it. Oh, and obviously, I think I said this last time, maybe, that True Detective is over. I need a new show. Suggestions welcome, please. I need a new show. I believe that's it. I thought about filming a little video of like what I pack in my stitching bag for retreats. If that's something that might interest you guys, it'll be like 1 second long, so maybe I'll just tack it on to the end of a normal video. I don't bring a ton. I mean, I probably bring more than you should. I'm overpacker, criminal overpacker. But so if that's something that would interest you. I haven't done any adventures in cooking or baking the last 2 weeks. My daughter wanted to make brownies the other day, and so I gave her a box and she made brownies. Yeah, my husband might go fishing this weekend, but it depends on the weather. He has to drive through the Lolo Pass in Montana to get to where they go fishing, and they're supposed to get a storm, so that might not be happening. We'll see. Yeah, there's not really anything new with the kids. Yeah, that's all I can think of. And I showed you my plans, and yeah, so that's really all I have for you today. I hope that you come back for my next 2-week update and enjoy your stitching over the next few weeks. And I will see you next time. Bye.